Hi friends. So I've decided that I really want to give the dark romantasy genre a go because, you know what, I love romantasy, but I haven't tried dark romantasy. I have read a dark romance book before, and that was Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver, and I really enjoyed that. It was like a romance between these two Dexter-style serial killers, basically, and I really enjoyed it. It was really funny. However, I'm expecting the dark romantasies that I'm going to get into to be like kind of darker than that and not as funny. And I've got a few. I've got a selection that I can try. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to pick yet. I do know that I'm going to start with The Rain and Shadow of Endings by Melissa Roehrich, but I'm not sure what to go with after that. I'm very much a mood reader, and I have a few choices. You'll know more than me because I will have put what I've read in the thumbnail. But yeah, basically, I'm excited to get into it. Although I'm a little anxious as well because I've never read anything like this before. But I will update you with all of my thoughts as I go. It will be completely spoiler free. I'm just going to give you my feelings and opinions. So yeah, the first book is one that I have on my Kindle, and it's The Reign of Shadow and Endings. And what I know about this is that it's about a fae woman who has to go to this like selection ceremony, and I don't believe she's expecting to be selected by one of the gods. I think they're called legacies, and she is basically selected when she wasn't expecting it by this legacy, and I want to say that he's called the Legacy of Endings, I think. And I believe that once they're selected, they are bonded to each other, and that the bond allows them to share, I think, like all of their like emotions and their powers, and I think it creates this like desire between them. I do know that the love interest in this is supposed to be like very possessive, that he's very morally grey, and that's kind of what I'd expect from a dark romantasy. Like, I'm expecting some toxic relationships here, and I'm expecting to feel a bit safer exploring them because it's in this fictional world, basically. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into it, and it's pretty early in the day today, so I have like all day to start getting into this book, so I'm hoping I'll get a good way through it, because I believe it's a pretty chunky book. It's a chunker. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I've been reading for half an hour now, and I had to stop for a minute because my adrenaline is going. Like, seriously, my resting heart rate has increased. We are at the point now where Tessa is being bonded with the legacy, and it is intense. And I was thinking that the legacy seemed okay, you know, that maybe he was going to be all right, but now what he's about to put her through, I'm not so sure. It's been really easy to get into. Like, I've just flown through the first 10% of it. I really like Tessa's character so far. She seems like she's going to be a really strong female character, but not in the stereotypical way. And she also seems like she's going to be a very defiant person, a very direct person. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not been like too dark yet, although I'm a bit worried about this scene that's coming up. Like, honestly, this scene is a little bit stressful. But I'm really excited to read more, so I'm going to carry on. Okay, I'm 50% of the way through this now. It's, I don't know, about 2.5 hours later. And this is so intense, like this is so heavy, but it's also really gripping. I have flown through the first part of this book. Sorry, just got interrupted by my cat. Yeah, I've really flown through the first half of this book. It's mostly very gripping. There are some parts that do slow down. It's a little bit unnecessarily long in parts, and it's a little bit repetitive in parts. A lot of the pacing is done well. There's just these kind of lulls in it. Our female main character, Tessa, she is being put through the ringer, and she is fighting back like every step of the way. As for our male main character, the love interest, he's extremely morally grey. I don't know what to make of him. He's clearly been brought up in this world and this family where certain things are expected of him, and he believes certain things very strongly. The side characters in this are brilliant. They're two of my favourites so far, and that's our love interest brothers. Yeah, I would say the vibes they are obviously very dark. The relationship is obviously toxic. It's something that, like, in real life would just be insane abuse. The extreme possessiveness of it and the obsession, but it works well in this dark romantasy setting. And I'm really excited just to see where where we're going with this. I mean, I do hope it like speeds up a little bit in the second half, because like I say, there are some bits that are just starting to dip a little bit. It's just been like an absolute roller coaster of emotions as well. And because it is so heavy, like I'm thinking I might need to like put it down and do something else for a bit, because even though I'm gripped by it and I want to know what's happened, like living in this world and just like going through what Tessa's going through, it is a lot. And I have some things in my past which I will not go into, but basically they're one of the reasons that I've avoided these types of books. But in a way, there can be like some catharsis to, I think, reading things with the sort of content in them and knowing that you're safe because it's in a fiction book. I think I'll have a little bit of a break from it now and then get back to it some more this afternoon. I realise that cute, cosy colouring books are not very dark romantasy vibes, but that's kind of the point. Like I was really needing to be in a different headspace for a little while, so I thought that this would be perfect, just to give me a little bit of a break. Something cute, something cosy. I'm not the best at this. You can see I'm not good at selecting colours. I colour outside the lines. I'm not good at it at all, but I do really enjoy it, and it's going to give my brain just a little bit of a break. And hopefully it'll give you just a little bit of a break from hearing me talking about all of the darkness in these books as well. Anyway, that's enough colouring for now, and I'm gonna get back into a little bit of reading, I think, before my son comes home from school. So I'll speak to you in a bit. Hi friends, it's the next day and I have finished this book. This is a 700-page book and I read it in a day. It is so gripping. It's really intense. Now, I would say it's not particularly fast-paced, it's just intense, and I just wanted to know what had happened. Like, I found it hard to put it down. There are bits in it that are slower. It's like I said, around the 50% mark. There are bits where it kind of dips, and that did happen again in the second half. But there's also bits that really make up for that, and it's such like a dramatic, intense book. I have such mixed feelings on the characters in this book. I mean, Theon, who's our male love interest, he is so morally grey. He's like morally dark grey. He's morally black. I was starting to like him at one point. He did something kind of unexpected that made me, well, I mean, not like him to be fair, but he was growing on me, and you can certainly see his character development in this. And then he did something which really made me dislike him again. It's weird because like I was rooting for these characters, even though in real life their relationship would be completely unacceptable. There was less spice in it than I was expecting as well. There is spice in it, but it comes in late. This is a very slow burn, and it's not really enemies to lovers. Like, it's enemies to enemies who've slapped together. Yeah, rather than a romance, I would say this is like the struggle of like power. It's like a power dynamics relationship, and I liked Tessa. I mean, don't be wrong, she kind of whines a lot, but then you would, because Tessa has had like the worst life, and everyone mistreats her. Everyone is abusive towards her. And honestly, in the next book, I want Tessa to just take her revenge. I wanted to take her revenge on everyone. Like, because, you know, it's one of those, I support women's rights, but I support women's wrongs. And I want Tessa to kick some butt. I don't know where it's going to go in the next book, but I will definitely be reading it because I did really enjoy this book overall. Also, there was a moment that just like really shocked me around the 88% mark. I wish I got it on camera, but you know, I don't know when the shocking moments are going to happen, so I can't always get them on camera, especially not when I'm reading for like 8 hours in one day or something. I can't decide what I want to pick up next. After this big long book, I'm thinking maybe pick up a shorter book. I'm also thinking, because in this one there was, like, it was very normal that the men in this book, they would have a wife, but they would also have a source, and they were like doing sexual things with the source, and it was just accepted by the wife. And that's kind of making me think that I wouldn't mind that being the other way round in the next books, and I kind of want to see women with multiple partners instead. So yeah, I might pick up a like reverse harem book. Yeah, I think I'm going to read Order of Scorpions by Ivy Escher next. And this is about a young woman who, I believe it starts with her being tortured, and I think a group rescues her from that torture, but at the same time then just leaves her there. She is then, I don't know how, but she is somehow trained in fighting. I believe she becomes an assassin. And then the same group that rescued her but abandoned her still, they hire her as an assassin. And I think that then the Why Choose romance will come in with the group that have hired her. I'm not sure the length of this book because I was going to go for a slightly shorter one and I'm not sure that this actually is. I don't know. I don't think it's quite 700 pages though. So yeah, let's get into that one and I will let you know when I have an update. Okay, I've only read the first chapter so far, but wow, this starts off very dark, which I guess, yeah, I expected from the plot description because I do know it starts off with the main character basically being tortured. But yeah, there is already like a lot of sexual threats of violence against her and she is in like a really horrific scenario. It's already like grossed me out a couple of times reading it. Also, I don't know why I thought this was shorter than the last book because it's actually the exact same number of pages on my Kindle. They are both 706 pages, so it's another big chunker. Just to add, I didn't realise as well that our main character wouldn't remember anything about who she was. Like, she can't even remember her name. She's got no idea who she is or why she's there. So that's kind of interesting because when I was talking about, our main character, I was thinking, you've already forgotten her name, but it's not that. We don't know her name yet. She doesn't know her name. So yeah, it's pretty intriguing finding out exactly why she's there. Hey guys, so I am about 35% of the way into the Order of Scorpions now. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update. I am really enjoying it. The world is so much darker than I expected. Like, I was expecting a dark world, but this is really grim dark. Like, the world in this is absolutely brutal and our main character, Rosette, she has been through so much and there is really heinous things described in detail in here. Romance-wise, we haven't really gotten romance yet. We have had a couple of like spy scenes, not many though, but the romance isn't there yet. However, the Order of Scorpions are getting to a point where they're kind of getting that touch her and die kind of energy. So yeah, the romance is clearly on its way. But mostly, it's not really been about romance or spice yet. It's just been like absolutely brutal. And it has been really gripping. There was several chapters in a row where I just couldn't put this down, which is weird because it actually is quite slow paced. Everything is described in quite a bit of detail. I did end up putting it down just for a little bit because there was just a really hard to read scene. I would say to look up the trigger warnings for this book and with any dark romantasies if you think there's something, that could potentially trigger you. Because there is things like sexual assault in this and there hasn't been one described really graphically on scene, but the after effects of one have been described graphically. But yeah, I do really like our main character. I mean, she is like a total badass. Something I'm trying to figure out is the motivations of the Scorpions. And, I knew going into this, because it literally says on the blurb that our main character, Rosette, she is like left to die or, left to go to be sent to the flesh markets. And the Scorpions are the ones who just left her there when she was in that state. And then they come to basically where she's been trained as a blade slave years later, and they are there to bid on the blade slaves, and they're suddenly like very upset with her treatment. But they've been coming to this for years and bidding, and they are questioning that themselves now. So, maybe we'll get to learn more about that. But yeah, their motivation's a little bit murky, and it seems a very quick shift to go from let's just leave this woman here to I'm going to hunt everyone down that's ever laid a hand on this woman. I can definitely see the Why Choose romance about to come into play. But yeah, at the moment it's just brutal. It's just brutal. Okay, I just found out something else about them and I'm really not sure where I'm standing with them now. There's a bit of a shocking detail right there. I assume. Feels weird reading this on camera. I'm at the 48% mark now, which is page 336. And I've just had to stop and put this book down for a moment. Without spoilers, obviously, we've just learned something about Cosette's past that these things are in her past, but just the way she described what had happened to her, just really upsetting. Again, definitely look up trigger warnings. It's not done in a gratuitous way at all. It's more the exploration of trauma and of how it impacts you. Without going into too much detail, there is a scene where Cosette is thinking about these painful memories and this traumatic experience that she had, and they're trying to distract her from it. Like, she asks them to distract her. And I don't know, this kind of hit close to home for me. I do have PTSD, and my PTSD used to be quite bad, and I also used to have panic attacks daily, like full blown, couldn't breathe. And one of the things that I've always said to my husband was, when I can't breathe, when I can't talk, when I'm gasping, like, distract me. And that's just what the characters here are doing. And yeah, it just got me. And it's not dealt with in an insensitive way or anything. It's not gratuitous. It is just one of those things that you kind of expect to find in books like this. But yeah, I've just thought I'm just going to step away from the book just for a little bit, because sometimes things just hit a little bit too close, So I'm probably going to go outside and just go for a little walk, I think. But yeah, one of the good things is that we have learned a bit more about the characters' motivations now, which was something that I was really looking for. And now we know a little bit more about the Scorpions' backstory and what's led them to the life that they're living. And Cosette is questioning her own judgment of them in light of her backstory and the people around her and how they've acted. I'm trying to give this in such a abstract way so as not to give you any spoilers. But yeah, we've learned a bit more about their motivations, so I am really pleased about that. It's definitely a little bit more emotionally layered than I expected now. And yeah, I'm not mad at all about how she's handling the trauma and the reliving of trauma. Like I say, it doesn't feel like it's carelessly thrown in there or anything, but I do think this will be really hard to read for a lot of people. Yeah, so it's just something to bear in mind, Anyway, I think I'm going to go and I might take a walk. I might just sit outside for a minute and just... It's a couple of days later now. I did end up just sitting outside and going for a little walk and just clearing my head a little bit, because yeah, it did get pretty intense. And then I did go back to reading the rest of the book. I'm at the 70% mark now. And I will say, I was really enjoying it before. I mean, like I say, enjoying feels like a weird word for such a grim, dark world. But I thought all the pacing and everything was really good until now, and I was very engaged in it. But it's really slowed down now. It's been dragging on since about the 55% mark maybe. However, it does seem to be picking back up again now, so I'm hoping that the plot's going to start moving along again. So I'm going to go and do a bit more reading now, and then I'll update you in a bit. There's such a spicy scene happening right now. There was just such a spicy scene, 5 out of 5 on the spice rating. So if you're looking for a very spicy scene, this definitely has it. The why choose part of this book just came in hard. No pun intended. Okay, I just finished Order of Scorpions, and I'm really glad that I stuck with it, because even though it did slow down a lot in that middle segment, it really did pick back up again. And yeah, I ended up really enjoying it overall. There was a lot more depth to it than I expected, and some really good character arcs. I really loved where the ending went, and I don't want to go into obviously much detail, but we did get to see her coming into her power and a kind of revenge arc type thing. And we got to learn more about the Order of Scorpions, and their character development was just great as well. I think the world building in this was really good overall. If it wasn't for that bit where it massively slowed down, I think I would have rated it higher, but I did feel like this needed probably a couple of hundred pages just cutting from it, in my opinion. I will say though, there was something I didn't expect at the end, like kind of a twist, and I didn't see it coming. And when the twist first came in, I thought we were heading in one direction, and I was thinking, oh god, like this is done in so many books, like I can't believe we're bringing in this trope. And then it went off in a completely different direction. And yeah, I really liked that because it definitely just subverted my expectations of it. Overall, just really enjoyed it. And I will say, if you're looking for something spicy, there was just so many spice scenes coming up towards the end of the book. Like this one is definitely like a 5 out of 5 on the spice meter. This one's like a 4 or 4.25, and I think the first one is probably a 4.25. Okay, the final one that I'm picking up is going to be the Draco and Hermione fanfic that I've been seeing absolutely everywhere, and that is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. Now, I know that this is based on a fanfic called The Auction, and I haven't read that myself. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, I will say that. It meant a lot to me in my childhood. I've read the books literally hundreds of times because I listen to them on audio every night going to sleep, and have done since I was 11. What can I say? I'm a creature of habit and of extreme routines. I'm a bit worried about it, like about any fan fiction kind of like marring my experience with them. Although I will say that J.K. Rowling has kind of done that, because as much as I love Harry Potter, the books, I do want to put it out there that I do not support or agree with anything that J.K. Rowling is saying and what she is putting out into the world, and the vitriol that she comes out with. I don't agree with it. I don't support it. But the books meant a lot to me in my childhood, so that's where I'm coming from. Anyway, I know that this is basically The Auction, but with the kind of names changed. So I know it's like Hermione and Draco romance, but the names have been changed, basically. And I did have a quick look at the character names, and I see that the main character is called Bryony. So Hermione, Bryony. Yeah. I don't really know what to expect, and I did have to look up if this would actually be considered dark romantasy, because I wasn't sure, because I feel like it's just been advertised more as a Draco Hermione love story. That's what I've seen coming up. But then I've also seen some things about it being dark romance, and yeah, when I looked, it said it definitely could be considered dark fantasy romance. I didn't want to look too much more into that because I want to go into this like pretty blind, really. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading it now. I've got it on my Kindle, by the way. I don't have a physical copy, and I will update you in a little bit. Okay, so I'm 35% of the way into the book now, and I've got to say it is so much darker than I was expecting. The women in this world are just treated like absolute garbage. Women are auctioned off, sold into sex slavery. Oh, like honestly, the world is just truly heinous, like really grim. It's just not what I expected at all. Like I say, I really didn't even notice this being advertised as a dark romantasy so much as a Hermione romance, you know. I mean, I have seen references to it as a dark romantasy, so like sure, it's not totally shocking, but like it is really dark. Like the world is so grim dark, it's really distressing to read about. There are just constant SA threats all the time, and that is non-consensual things shown on page. What actually made me stop reading it just is that around this part there is a forced sterilisation scene, and that is in the trigger warnings, but it didn't make it clear that it would be shown on page. Now, I'll be honest, this is like something that is quite triggering for me personally. Anything to do with pregnancy loss, anything to do with pregnancy, fertility in general is quite triggering for me. So like, yeah, you could totally say, well, it's your fault because, you know, you should have checked the trigger warnings. And like, yeah, sure. It's something to be aware of because it is shown on page, and yeah, it is just very upsetting to read. So I'm about to, you know, put the book down for a bit. I think I might do, you know, what Joey does on Friends, where he just, you know, puts the book in the freezer. I think that might break my Kindle though. If it gets too much for me, then I absolutely will DNF the book. So we'll just see how it goes. I do want to touch on the world building while I'm here, because there is something that I'm just finding it so hard to get past. In this world, this horrible, violent, misogynistic world where women are literally treated not just as second-class citizens, but as like total just property. Guess who the overall ruler is? It's a woman. That makes like absolutely no sense. Like, you're seriously telling me in this world where the only men in it are just Andrew Tates, it's just a world full of Andrew Tate, and then people even like men even worse than him, okay? That's all the world is. It's just full of just absolute arseholes everywhere. Like, worse than arseholes. Like, these people, like, they are like the lowest of the low, the most heinous men you can imagine. And you're telling me that these men who are literally buying sex slaves and essaying them, they are deferring to a woman. A woman got herself into the ultimate position of power in this world. That's what the author wants me to believe. I feel like that weird meme where she's doing the maths and she's trying to work it out and she's like, it makes no sense. I just find this aspect of the world building is so jarring. There's no way a woman would have risen to the top in this world. There's no way that the men would be showing any sort of deference, any sort of respect to her. The world is entirely built. It's built systemically on women hating. Like, it's the main part of this world, right? And like, I'm a logical person, and I feel like this is so illogical that I just can't get past it. But you know, I'm gonna carry on, and I'm gonna try and put that to one side and just carry on. Okay, time for another update. I've been reading it actually quite quickly, and what I will say is this book is quite addictive, but it's not addictive in a good way. You know, it's funny because I actually had someone commented on my channel the other day about how some books are kind of like a can of Pringles, as in like I'm paraphrasing here, but like you eat all the Pringles in one go because it feels good at the time, but then afterwards you're just kind of left feeling unsatisfied and a bit like, you know. That's what it's like reading this book. It's like consuming junk food. Like, it's weirdly addictive, but like it's like, you know, it's not good for you. It's like afterwards you feel like you're going to be hungry again and you're going to really want some nutrition, you know, some good nutritious stuff. And I feel like after this I'm going to be craving like a really well written book. So I guess you can tell that I have started to kind of dislike this book. I'm not really not liking it, but it's definitely, there's no way that this book is getting above a 3-star, unfortunately. Like, it would have to pull something spectacular out the bag, and I can't see it happening. And onto the world building again. The world building to me feels like it's just been an amalgamation of popular romantasy books. So, for example, in the house, she can just request things and the house will give her things, like, hello, Akatar. And then there's also collars used for control. Hello, Throne of Glass. As for Tovin, who, you know, was Draco in the original one, Tovin has got, like, very little personality and he won't answer a single bloody question. Like, anything she asks him, he's like, well, I don't have an answer for that. I can't answer that. Like, well, what can you do, Tovin? Like, can you give us any answers, you know? Can you give us a personality other than just, I'm a bit dark and mysterious, but, like, I'm not that dark, but I am kind of dark. Fortunately for me, Bryony doesn't really seem like Hermione, and that's good because I really don't want to conflate the two, because I always really liked Hermione as a character and I don't want Bryony to tarnish her because, like, she's just a bit meh. Like, you know, again, there's just no real development. Like, I'm really hoping it picks up because I have, like I said, I didn't look into it much, but one thing I did see is that this is currently rated highly on Goodreads. So maybe it's going to really pick up. Maybe we're going to take off. I can't see it going above a 3, but like, let's hope that it doesn't drop below that. Right, it's much later on now, and I'm sorry if the lighting's not good because it's really late now, like it's past 10 o'clock. I'm at 75% of the way through now, and I just can't with this book anymore. The chemistry between them is just, it's just non-existent. Like, I don't understand why either of them would like the other one. There's no romance in it still, by the way. We're at the 75% mark. There's no romance. Also, the threats of SA are continuing, not from the main male character, but from all of the side characters who are his friends. You know, he is associated with these people. And she finds out, so I can't go into details, but she finds out some really heinous things are happening to her friends. And she knows that, like, that her captor, that Tovin, is associated with them. And she's very much still like, yeah, but what would it feel like if I run my fingers through his hair, though? What? Like, come on, get a grip. And you know, the fantasies of him, it's all very Stockholm Syndrome, isn't it? And there is a bit, and this is a little bit spoilery, so I will put a timestamp on the screen just to skip to if you don't want to hear this. But I just want to say what's really annoying me at this point. Basically, they're going to all of these dinners with Tovin's friends, like, who are, you know, also captors, and all of their slaves are there, like her friends being mistreated. And she doesn't know where one of her friends is and what's happened to her, so she tries to get information out of one of the other guys there in the only way that she possibly can. So she basically says that she'll kiss him for the information. And obviously, like, she's absolutely hating this. And so she kisses him to get the information. And then Tovin turns to her afterwards and is like, why are you kissing my friends? Like, I'm sorry, one, your friends, like, the guy is a literal rapist, right? That's what he is. And also, are we suddenly in high school? Like, these people are supposed to be in their mid-20s and now, like, what? I'm sorry, you're telling your slave off because she kissed a friend because she was trying to find information about where her best friend was being held captive. And I'm supposed to care about, like, want the development of a relationship between Bryony and Tovin after that. Yeah, at this point, it feels like I'm kind of like hate reading it. Let's see if it can redeem itself. I'm now at 85% and I really am kind of hate reading it now. Like, this is the point where I would DNF it if it wasn't for this vlog at 85% because of what's just happened. And we'll get back to reading this for a bit more now because I feel like I'm going to finish it now. I'm going to finish it partly for the vlog, and I suppose, like, even though I think I would have DNF'd it, like, maybe there's a small chance that at the end it just gets better. And also, I'm genuinely curious to know when the romance is going to come in. Like, when is the romance going to happen? Okay, now there's been just another very upsetting thing happen. It's not well handled, it's not spoken about in any form of depth, and it's in the trigger warnings, but it's just kind of like thrown in there, and I feel like it's just kind of thrown in there for effect, and yeah, I don't like that. Anyway, it's super late now, but I'm going to carry on because I'm at 88%. 92%, still no romance. Just putting that out there. Gonna have to do a quick spoilery update again because I just can't with this bit. I just can't. I'll put the timestamp. Bryony has literally just said to Tovin about why he hasn't essayed her. Like, she's literally just asked him in a way, like, in a tone that seems like, oh, I'm sorry, do you not think I'm attractive enough to be essayed? Honestly, like, really bad. Like, she asks him what moral righteousness he has over his friends because, like, he hasn't assaulted her. Imagine just, like, going up to a guy and being like, well, you haven't essayed me, like, what's up, do you not think I'm hot? It comes across so bad, like, that sentence, if it wasn't, like, right at the end, I mean, that's a DNF sentence right there, that was terrible, but it is like, we're right at the end of the book now, we're just going to push through the last little bit, you know? %. The romance is just starting at 95%. Like, this isn't slow burn. This is nothing happening, and when it does happen, you're like, why is this happening? Because these characters have no connection. Anyway, it's instantly ruined because then she turns to him and she's like, why did you buy me? And obviously he's like, I can't answer that. Because you can't answer any questions. Like, come on boy, give us nothing. Just like you've done for the entire book. I know I'm being a lot more ranty now than I intend to, but I can't help it. This book is bringing out the worst in me. You're kidding me. I can't go into this bit without, like, a small spoiler. Again, I'm gonna have to skip it because otherwise you won't know what's irritating me so much. So I'll put the thing on again, I'll put the time on again. So the romance started at 95% and at 98% the romance is over. Seriously, we waited 95% for anything to happen, and at 98% Tovin, you know, as in Slave Master Tovin, he's the one who's like, that shouldn't have happened, I regret that. So I can clearly see that this is going to get dragged back into another book as back to enemies, to lovers for, you know, one night, and then back to enemies. Also, right before the spy scene, right before it, she had this crashing realisation about how much just horrible, horrible stuff is happening to her friends, and she got genuinely really emotional, and it was actually a scene that gave her character some depth. But then literally, right after that, right after she's thinking about how the worst things possible have happened to her friends, then there's a spy scene, like immediately after it, and she just, you know, she can't think of anything else. Anyway, I'm on 98%, so let's get this finished. Okay, so then we had an epilogue, and in the epilogue is another world-building aspect that's just pulled straight out of another popular romantasy. It talks about a dragon that, you know, hasn't bonded to its rider in over 500 years. Is that not Fourth Wing? I don't want to be a hater, but I do want to be honest, and I honestly hated this book. Normally I would say I would recommend this book still to who might like it, you know. And I'm having real trouble because right now, maybe it's because I've only just finished it and maybe I'll be able to be more objective tomorrow. Right now, I can't think who I would recommend this to. Maybe someone I don't like. I can't recommend it to fans of very dark romantasy, which is who I thought I was going to be recommending this to, because there's no romance in it. There just isn't. There's like this teeny little smidge of romance in it. I can't recommend it if you want spice either, because it's like a 1 out of 5 on the spice, although there is a lot of essay threats. I'm not including that as spice. If you like grim dark fantasy with weakly developed characters, sorry, I can't do this right now. There's too much hatred in my heart right now. I'm going to try and come up with a good point. A good point is that it's weirdly addictive, and it certainly doesn't shy away from hard topics. I just felt like it does it in a way that's kind of disrespectful to its reader. There's no catharsis. It creates this incredibly dark, grim world, and you kind of feel like there's this promise of something, and then it just doesn't deliver. And if anything, maybe she's withholding that until the second book, and I don't like that. Like, I'm not going to read the second book, obviously. I was trying to say good things, like I went back to bad because I couldn't help it. There may be like a full-on rant review coming for this, and you know, and if you're not into that, then obviously skip that one, that's fine. I do tons of positive videos on what I love as well. I'm sorry to end this on such a negative note. I didn't mean to pick the one that I'd hate at the end, but look, we had a good run, you know, we got like 4.25 star books, and then this is a 1-star book. I don't know if I'm like a dark romantasy girly now or something, but I would definitely read more dark romantasy, and I'm definitely going to read the rest of the Rain and Shadow and Ended series, the Legacy series. I'm definitely going to read the rest of that. I'm really interested in reading some more of Melissa Roerich's work. If you love these books, do let me know. I'm not saying that you won't love Rose in Chains if you haven't read it yet. Maybe you will, you know, maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe you've already read it and you're like, what? I disagree with everything you've said. And that's cool. Books are subjective. We're going to disagree on stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.